While the spotlight is on Nadu and everyone speculates whether it's going to get the banhammer or not, there may be another sleeping giant in the modern format. Today, I'm going to be giving you a deck tech of Mono Black Necrodominance. This deck is pretty disgusting. What's up, Magic players? Les Alex back with another deck tech video, and today we are looking at, like I said, Mono Black Necrodominance. Now, there are a lot of different flavors of this deck, but today we're going to be taking a look at the list that top-aided the Pro Tour Modern Horizons 3 from Noah Ma. This list seems like the base deck that everyone is going off of, and since we still don't have any information from the mothership on decks, this is what I'm basing it off of. Make sure if you enjoy this video, you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss content like this. Now that we got all that YouTuber stuff out of the way, let's take a look at the cards, and I can break this down for you and let you know why these cards are here. First off, we've got from Modern Horizons 3, Bogart Trawler. This is, of course, the MDFC. It is a swamp, essentially. It's not a swamp, but it is a land that makes black mana on the back that you can pay 3 mana to have entered untapped, and it is a creature goblin 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. That is an amazing ability to tack on to a card that otherwise is just in your mana base. Very, very nice against the graveyard-based decks. Moving on, we got some more graveyard hate in the tried and true MH2 big card, Dauthi Voidwalker. It's a 2-mana 3/2. You probably know what it does, but it also just hates on graveyards. Absolutely, just one of the best graveyard hate pieces. And of course, we have last month's Boogeyman in the format, and a card that everybody was clamoring to be banned before Nadu made its way into the format. We have Grief. Of course, this is a Thoughtseize effect that you can really get back and just constantly be doing it. You can really Thoughtseize your opponent twice on the first turn. We'll get to how that's possible in this deck. We've got Orcish Bowmasters, of course, another modern staple. This card may be the best creature in black in the format. We've got Shieldred, and this is a card that is kind of the reason this deck is able to exist in its current version. Of course, the 4/5 Death Toucher. When you draw a card, you get to gain 2 life, and when your opponents draw a card, they lose 2 life. We've got Sorin, House of House Markov. It's a 2-mana 1/4 with lifelink and extort. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, if you've gained 3 or more life this turn, you get to exile it and flip it. What does it do on the back? Well, it's a black and a white planeswalker that has extort tacked on as a passive ability. It's got 3 loyalty, and you can +2 it to create a food. You can -1 it, and it deals damage equal to the amount of life that you've gained to any one target, including players. You can target players. And then -6, gain control of target creature. It becomes a vampire in addition to its other types. Put a lifelink counter on it if you control a white permanent other than Sorin. So obviously you're not going to get that in this deck, but just an absolute great piece of tech for this deck. Extort is a great way to gain passive life and, of course, drain your opponent. Of course, we're playing 4 Thoughtseizes. Why wouldn't we be? Why wouldn't we be? Pound for pound, this is one of the best cards in Magic history. 1 mana, rip anything out of your opponent's hand, other than lands, of course, and you lose 2 life. Moving on down to the instance, we have Cling to Dust. This is a nice piece of tech that has been seeing a ton of play in Pioneer, but here it does the job. We have another graveyard hate card. Exile target creature target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature, you gain 3 life. Otherwise, you draw a card and it can escape for 4 mana and exile 5 other cards in your graveyard. So excellent to gain life, especially in this deck when you're spending so much life on Necrodominance, but also an excellent way to just cantrip and draw a card. Of course, we're playing 4 Fatal Push, just the premier 1-mana removal spell in the format. We've got 2 Fell the Profane. It's 4-mana instant. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Typically, that's not that great, especially at that rate in Modern. However, it is also one of those bolt lands that you can have, and it's a MDFC. Moving on, we've got Malakir Rebirth. Alongside Not Dead After All, these are both ways to be able to play your grief, and then you can Malakir Rebirth or Not Dead After All and keep that grief around. And you get to, quote-unquote, Thoughtseize a second time. That's not too shabby. We've got March of Wretched Sorrows. And much like, exactly like actually, all the other marches, you can exile any number of black cards from your hand, and it costs 2 less if you do that. March of Wretched Sorrow deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, and you gain X life. A lot of the cards in here let you gain life, right? A lot of them. You got Shieldred, you've got the Extort on Sorin on both sides, and then, of course, you've got Cling to Dust, March, and then a card that has gone kind of insane on the secondary market here. You got Soul Spike. This is a card that no one was even thinking about until just recently. It is a 7-mana instant from Cold Snap that says you may remove 2 black cards in your hand from the game rather than playing its mana cost. That's basically the only way you're ever casting this card in this deck, and it deals 4 damage to target creature or player, or you gain 4 life. Not or, and. Duh. But, so 4 damage, 4 drain, 4 gain, that's 8 life total potentially. And why are we doing all this life gain, you may ask? Well, we finally get to it, the main attraction, the main event here, and this is Necrodominance. Now, Necropotence was a card way back in the day. Way back in the day. It got banned. You don't need to worry about that card. However, this card, Necrodominance, is absolutely nutty. It is basically just Necropotence. There are a couple differences, but let's take a look. It is 3 black pips for a mythic legendary land. You have to skip your draw step, and at the beginning of your end step, you may pay any amount of life. If you do, draw that many cards. So, as you can already tell, the synergy whistles might be going off in your head because, yeah, if you have a Shieldred on the battlefield, if you draw 10 cards, you gain 10 life. If you draw 10 cards, you just gain 10 life because, of course, you're gaining 2 life off this, you're losing 1 life off this, you're just gaining life. It's insane. It's insane. Your maximum hand side, however, is 5, so that is a bit of a downside. But if a card or token would be put into your graveyard from anywhere, have to exile it instead. That is quite the caveat. And you do draw these cards individually. So opposing Orcish Bowmasters do hit you. So keep that in mind. But this card, there are turns that I've seen played already. And I haven't played this deck yet. I do plan to, but I haven't played this deck yet. But I've seen it be played in paper and at the PT. And you can just go, I think I'll draw 7 cards. And you can draw 7 cards, and then you find your Soul Spikes, right? And you can exile 2 cards you don't need and kill a thing or target your opponent or target a planeswalker. And it is just insanely good value. Necrodominance is absolutely cracked in half. Looking at the mana base, I'm just going to go over the specialty lands because we know there's going to be fetches and things like that. But we have Castle Locthwain, an excellent way to draw cards. Phyrexian Tower, of course, the brand new to Modern, thanks to Modern Horizons 3, land. It taps for a colorless, or you can sacrifice a creature and add 2 black. We've got Raucous Theater as a one-of. You got Urborg, of course. And then here's the sideboard. Break the Ice. You can destroy target land that's a snow land, but more importantly, it destroys things that tap for a Wingding, and it has Overloaded. So you could potentially hit all of their Tron lands. Card is very nice. That was a 3-of. Collective Brutality. Damning Sphere, of course, against the pesky Storm decks. Pithing Needle, just anything that you might need to hit. Shieldred's Edict. Planeswalkers, aggro decks, great. Surgical, and of course Toxic Deluge for the potential aggro matchup. But this deck is absolutely... I don't know if any of you have seen this deck in action yet, but it is absolutely cracked. And I think, I don't know, but if and when Nadu gets banned, I think this might be the go-to best deck in the format, because holy smokes, Necrodominance is actually just cracked in half. It will potentially be dominant, but that is the deck list. And of course, as I always say, don't just copy this sideboard. This was a sideboard that was built for the PT. Build your sideboards, as I always say, build your sideboards for your local meta. If you're playing online, it might be okay, but always have the metagame that you expect in mind when you're building your sideboards. But is Necrodominance as dominant as I think it is? I would love to hear your opinions in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Is that bird getting banned? I don't know. But I appreciate everybody. If you stuck it out this far, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, notification bell icon. I make Magic the Gathering content on competitive formats. So if you're into that sort of thing, make sure to lock it in and subscribe. That would be super dope. I appreciate you all. I'm rambling. And until the next video, make sure you stay cool. Catch y'all on the flippy flop. Adios.